We are again. Welcome to all of you for another All-Pervading live session. So let's dive into our quote for today. To kick it off, shall we? Today's lesson is, and then we'll do the lesson on connecting with our true self. So again, a lesson about identifying with your true self as you really are, as God created you. Let me remember that I'm one with that presence we call God. So let's start with the quote, just to kick it off. I'm going to share my screen with you. Share screen. All right, so Archie, can you kick that off for us and read that quote from a guy called Dr. Amit Ray?
There is only one all-pervading God. It has only one message, love. All encompass, all and love all. Sorry, let me read that again. There is only one all-pervading God. It has only one message, love all, encompass all, and transcend the limits of the selfish gene.
So this is a quote that just states the very simple truth, the truth of the ages, that every authentic spiritual tradition and teacher has taught throughout the ages, called the perennial philosophy, which is that God, love, is all-pervading, unconditional love for everyone and everything. This is at the root of all the great spiritual traditions of the world. And we only have difficulty accepting this because of what Amit Ray, who is an Indian spiritual teacher and also interesting, an expert on quantum computing and artificial intelligence, because those areas connect you into spirituality. Quantum mechanics is another spiritual path. AI takes you into some very interesting territory. You know, what is the mind? What's intelligence? What's real? What's not real? So obviously that's been part of his learning, his journey. So he calls this the selfish gene. Course in Miracles and many other spiritual paths call it the ego. It's not really a gene as such. A gene is something in our DNA that, as we know, then affects the way the body and some say the mind behaves. But really, from a spiritual point of view, this selfishness is an idea. The selfish gene is actually a selfish idea that you are somehow separate from others and you separate from your source. So the ego and its dysfunctions are not caused by genes, as scientific materialists would like you to believe, but rather by the belief in separation. The problem is an idea in our minds. And that idea then makes up apparently separate bodies, which then have genes, and that all tricks the mind into believing that it really is an individual person living in a body in a seemingly external world. So if we have a look at this, let's just find what I'm looking for. Failed to load document, right? See if that's going to come back. Is that coming back? I wanted to just look at this diagram quickly. Not sure why it's not loading. If we try another tab, that might work. Because not much is happening on this one, is it? All right, let's go here. Let's go into a new tab. Let's see if that works. Oh, that's not happening for some reason. I'm not sure why that's showing, but let's.
So Jonathan, did the I didn't actually receive today's email either, but so I looked at your message on Telegram, but I don't know if anyone else received the email.
Really?
If it was just me.
Okay. Let's just check here.
I think I'm just making. Yeah, I
Yeah,
did. I received it. Sorry, that's
yeah.
how it's going. Yeah, yeah.
Day 89. Yeah. See, not actually that many there. You can see not that many people opened it for some reason today. I don't know. Yeah, it went out. Today's the 17th of July, isn't it? Yeah. It'll go out. So, I don't know. I'll check
Because I
to see
checked
if it's you.
my junk mail as well,
Hmm.
and it
Hmm.
wasn't, because sometimes it goes into I don't
Hmm.
know, is it because sometimes it goes into junk mail as well, even though sometimes it goes into my inbox.
Hmm.
But,
Hmm. Yeah, it depends on the algorithms on how you whatever. Do you use Gmail? I can't remember
yeah,
which.
I use
Yeah, I use
Gmail.
Gmail.
Yeah.
Depends on how it. Yeah, I actually noticed. I don't think I got the test email to Gmail, which was interesting. So
I
maybe
was going to say, would you mind forwarding it to me, Jonathan?
yeah,
The
sure,
Yeah, thank you.
no
No, it's just that
problem.
I do like the email because it's all in one.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'll check because I didn't get it as well. I'm not sure why. That's the case. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and you're like, okay, well, is that
Yeah.
permanent, or was that just one time? I don't know. I don't understand. But I'll forward it to you, and I'll check it out tonight and go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Uh, so where were we? So yeah, why has this been done? Why have we believed in separation? Really, to convince ourselves that, and why have we created a seemingly separate world with bodies? It's to convince ourselves that separation is true, that a separate identity is true. That's what the whole world is set up to do. It's a trick of the mind to convince us that oneness, love, or abundance is not true, separation is true, and we see all the evidence that the ego mind needs to continuously convince itself that this belief in separation is true, therefore the ego is real, therefore we do have a separate identity. And the only antidote to this trickery, really, because that's what it is, and self-deception, is the universal unconditional love that Amit Ray refers to in this quote. And you can perceive that in every apparent person and living organism sharing the dream. Everyone and everything has a fundamental awareness. So you might say, well, okay, so how do I actually do that in practice? The theory sounds wonderful, but the practical so-called reality that many of us experience while living in this world may seem to be very different. The seeming fact that there's no unity in this world, but only separation, is not a fact at all, but rather a belief that you may still want to hold on to. Irrespective of what's seemingly happened in the past, what seems to be happening, how anyone's behaving now, you can always choose to perceive the one life, essence, force that gives the gift of life and love to everyone and everything. It's always there. It's the fundamental awareness without which there would be nothing. So this is a fundamental choice that you must make in every situation and relationship. If you perceive anyone or anything is separate from you, fear, anger, guilt, and hatred must arise in your mind, because this is what the belief in separation and scarcity inevitably leads to. So we have to recognize that there's no half measures here. If you believe in separation, then you will have fear, anger, guilt, and hatred, and you can't say, well, I'll just have a little bit of separation and there'll be no fear, no anger, no guilt, and it's all going to be okay. No, those are consequences of that belief system. And we have to understand that it's all or nothing. We accept that thought system entirely or not at all. That's the non-dual teaching. So you're either gonna be in the ego fully or the Holy Spirit fully. And in practice, we tend to vacillate between them. But when you're in one thought system, then you're denying the other. And we talked in our expression about the obvious consequences of that. If you're looking at, say, a football match, what happened a couple of days ago when England played Argentina, it was evident. Suddenly you go into fear and everything shifts. English team went into fear. For those who didn't watch the match, even though they just scored a goal, they stopped playing positively. They went into defensive mindset, and the game completely changed. And they lost in the end because they went from positive, sort of very reasonably flowing mindset in football to fear and defensiveness, and that doesn't work. So the world is a great mirror. It shows us the outcome of our thought system in the mirror that it presents, and that's really useful to have that as a lesson. Is if we didn't have the world to reflect back to us as the mirror, how would you learn? How would you learn what's true and what's not? You need those reflections that the world gives you in order to learn. In order to learn that, yes, there is really only this one life essence, this one truth, this one awareness in any person or living thing, and that's the same as you. We all have the same essence of life, and the differences that we perceive actually pale into insignificance besides that fundamental awareness we call life. So if you hold this perception in mind, then you will start experiencing a sense of your oneness with the other person or thing, and that's the all-pervading, all-encompassing, transcendent love, which Amit Ray speaks. So it's oh, I love you, I'm so attached to you. It's a recognition that this is the same, we share the same essence, we share the same being. That's the universal, all-encompassing, transcendent love that Amit Ray is talking about, that all the great spiritual teachers and teachings have pointed to. So whether you experience this universal unconditional love or not depends on your perceptions. We can block it off in our perception, or we can invite it in. And we practice these workbook lessons and the other mind training material in this program so that we can invite this universal unconditional love in, because it's a much more expanded perception, much more expanded way of operating in our lives. So when you're doing the exercises, when you're practicing the lessons, you're systematically training your mind to perceive everyone and everything you think is in the external world correctly. In other words, it's the same as you in essence. So you can consistently experience this universal unconditional love and the peace and joy that inevitably brings anyone who experiences it. So that brings us quite nicely to this video, where David Hoffmeister, I'll give you the sort of 1 minute summary of it. He talks about there only being one problem that we all share. Every human being has essentially the same problem, and that is a perceptual problem of separation. We believe that separation is true, we perceive accordingly, and our perceptions are therefore wrong and distorted. And the only way out of that problem is the answer of the at-one-ment. At-one-ment lets go of that belief in separation and says, no, I can perceive this differently. I can perceive this from the perspective of oneness rather than from separation. And that shift makes all the difference. That shift reconnects you with your true self and ultimately your source. That shift changes your perceptions, it changes your decisions and your actions and your words. And so this is what we're studying, a thought system that helps us to shift from believing in separation and everything that it entails, fear, guilt, sin, all of the negative consequences of those emotions, into something that is more positive, something that is life-giving and inspiring rather than life-destructive and negative of life. And we have a choice every moment to do that or not. We can change our mind, we can change our perception in any situation, from fear-based, based on separation, in other words, into love-based, based on oneness, unity. Anytime we want to, that choice is always available, no matter what the situation is. We can always perceive it correctly. So someone might say, "Oh, but my husband, my daughter, my wife, someone close to me has just died. They've just died in a car accident. How can you possibly see that positively?" You can see it from the perspective of oneness. That doesn't mean you're celebrating, but it means that you don't acknowledge the permanence of death, that you would just see the situation from the perspective of the one life essence or awareness we share, and realize, well, that person hasn't really died. Only the body's died, and the body's not real. Whatever's real can't die. So their essence goes on, their awareness goes on. They're just not physically here in form anymore. And so what's really been lost? Just a physical form that I got used to, and I called that physical form by name, and this was a person in my life. But is that really a true perception? Maybe the only truth is that they're just the same awareness as me, and we still share that awareness, and so nothing's really happened. So there's a quick example, how you can deal with apparently the worst thing, death of a loved one, unexpected death of a loved one, how you can deal with that from the framework of oneness rather than separation. Or you could, oh, this is terrible. How could this happen to me? I'm devastated. I'm never going to love anyone again, because, if you love, you get hurt, you lose people. And you can hold on to the grief for years to come, and stop yourself from being free and open and expansive, and being a very negative, grief-stricken, depressed state for months, years to come. But that's a choice that you make, how you choose to perceive that situation. So that's really what we're studying, the system and changing your mind, being able to change your mind and your perception very, very quickly, so that you don't have to suffer unnecessarily, right? So that's why the message, that's the one thing you must do to be happy, is you got to learn to change your mind. You have to change your mind about the situations and circumstances that seem to confront you in this world. And that process of changing your mind we call forgiveness, or letting go. Okay, so any comments, questions about that? Nothing new there, but just the simple truth reiterated again today in the quote and in today's lesson, which let's dive into, shall we? Okay, so lesson 124 then. Okay, so you can read, I'm going to read the original and the other one the alternative of the lesson. That would be great. Who wants to read the original?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Let me remember I am one with God.
I'll do the next. I remember that I am one with perfect love or abundance.
Yeah, so the change is, instead of God talking about perfect love or abundance, because they describe more accurately what this is. I am one with this perfect loving awareness, with this abundance, and my only job is to remember that, right? Our only job is to remember who we are. We remember the sonship. Remember. We come back together and we remember it. You see where the word comes from. We are becoming part of that again. We've forgotten it and now we remember it. And the moment you change your mind, you are remembering the sonship, you see. You're bringing your mind back into that awareness. And so that fragmentation, that separation is then healed. And that process of remembrance is the Holy Spirit. Just remembering the truth in every situation. And so there we see, quite nicely illustrated, the diagram shows you diamonds and various facets or aspects of this sonship, as the course would call it, of this extension of perfect love, which has all these facets, whether it manifests as Jesus or you or someone else, or another person or another sentient being, maybe an animal, a plant. These are all facets of the one self, right? And that light at the core of it is the one light, the one awareness that all of these facets share. They have essentially the same quality, the same fundamental essence or being, irrespective of how they appear. So on the level of form, this facet looks different from this facet at a different angle. It's got different colors. Seems to be different, but it's still part of the same diamond, the same one life essence. And so we can choose to see that or not. In the apparent separation of the facets, you can see deeper and say this is actually all part of the same diamond, the same essential essence. It's all a diamond. It's all the life essence. Or you can focus on the apparently separate aspects of that facet, which is what the ego does. But if you do that, then you miss the whole. You're missing the bigger picture. It would be like in this world, an expert focusing on a very particular subject, and you become an expert in that subject. It's one facet, but you ignore all the others. And then you become very narrow and blinded to the whole. So it's not holistic perception. It's just, yes, you're an expert in that facet, so you can tell anyone in detail about that facet, but you're missing the essential nature of the facet because it's an aspect of a bigger whole. And that's its most essential nature. The details of it are not its most essential nature. So quite a good diagram just to illustrate that point. And then Archie, if you can read that little bit down below kindly for us.
Mm-hmm. If you are one with God, then no part of him is closed off to you, hidden inside some vault you cannot enter. If you are one with him, then literally everything he has is yours. Indeed, everything he is yours. This is the glorious truth we celebrate in this lesson.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's summed up in that first sentence. If you are one with God, then no part of him is closed off to you.
Yeah, then you are one with everyone and everything, which is why you can't attack any facet, any aspect of this and still be one with the whole. So as soon as you separate off one aspect and you say, okay, I don't like that. I'm now psychologically attacking that aspect. I no longer see the whole. I no longer see that aspect is really just one aspect or facet of a much bigger whole. I now become separate myself because I see myself as separate from that aspect that I don't like. And this is, of course, how the ego works. It wants us to focus on the aspect of a son of God that we don't like, and then we become an aspect as well, and we get stuck in the boxes, and we forget we're part of a much bigger whole. That actually what seemingly separates us, okay, they're on the other side, they seem to be separate and different from me. Actually, it's the same aspect, it's the same essence. We share the same diamond. We're part of the same life essence that gives us our essential identity. And so the seeming fact that they facing the other way, and so they perceive things differently, and they're on the other side, doesn't really matter. They're still part of the same diamond, part of the same self. Very, very easy to forget that when that aspect is facing away and they behave differently, and you start focusing on the differences, i.e. what's in the aspect or the facet, rather than on the essential truth that is all one diamond, right? That's one thing with these different facets, but it's one whole and complete unto itself. You can't split that off and say, oh well, I'll just have that aspect. It couldn't exist without the whole. In the same way as the drop of water in the ocean, seemingly a separate drop, but it couldn't exist without the whole ocean. It's an integral part of the whole, and you can't forget that. Forgetting that is, of course, what the ego wants us to do, and remembering it is what the Holy Spirit wants us to do. But they move in opposite directions. You can't be focused on the aspect and forget the whole, and then also remember the whole. If you're focusing on the aspect, then you're forgetting the whole, and you choose to remember or forget, but not both at the same time.
Mm.
All right, so let's go into the text of the lesson then. All right, so who wants to read the original? And the alternative is sentence by sentence, as we normally do it. Yeah, who would like to kick it off? Shall I nominate someone?
Well, I can kick it off.
You kick it off, and then maybe Elaine, you read the alternative.
Today we will again give thanks for our identity in God.
Today I will again give thanks for my identity in pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance.
Our home is safe, protection guaranteed in all we do, power and strength available to us in all our undertakings.
My home is safe, protection guaranteed in all I do, and power and strength available to me in all my undertakings.
We can fail in nothing.
I can fail in nothing.
Everything we touch takes on a shining light that blesses and that heals.
Everything touch takes on radiant awareness that blesses and heals.
At one with God and with the universe, we go our way rejoicing with the thought that God himself goes everywhere with us.
At once with pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance and the universe of truth or abundance, I go my way rejoicing with the thought that pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance itself goes everywhere with me.
Okay, and from the top, Elaine.
Today I will again give thanks for my identity in pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance. My home is safe, protection guaranteed in all I do, and power and strength available to me in all my undertakings. I can fail in nothing. Everything I touch takes on a radiant awareness that blesses and heals. At one with pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance and the universe of truth or abundance, I go my way rejoicing with the thought that pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance itself goes everywhere with me. So
But just a point about universe there. So that this happens a few times in the course. What he actually means there, as I've translated it, is the universe of truth or abundance. So it probably needs to just be capital. The universe of truth or abundance. So we're not one with the separate universe. We're one with this universe of truth or abundance, which underlies the physical universe. On the physical level, you clearly, evidently, from that perspective, are separate. You have your own separate body and identity. But the universe he's talking about, and he does this a few times, is the universe of truth, this truer reality that underlies it. But again, confusing because they use a small u, but actually it should be a capital U, because you're pointing to the same reality as God. So it should be capitalized. You could, I suppose, interpret that as a physical universe in this instance, with the physical universe. That kind of works in this context. But I'm changing it across the board because there are contexts in the course where it doesn't work. Where if you interpret it as the physical universe, then you get confused. Okay, so just to clarify that point, any thoughts on that, Elaine, or anyone else?
just a nice, reassuring message for us. It's, if you're in that thought system, then it's just not going to fail. So why continue staying in this?
So even when you get failure on the level of form, it's not really a failure. So look at let's take that England result. On the level of form, they failed, but if they learned a lesson, then they haven't failed. You understand? Then that's a huge success. If they learned from that experience and they learned that fear doesn't work, and that might well be the seed of their next victory. The seed of every victory is planted in the ashes of defeat, because you can learn from that. So they may well win the next tournament because they really learn and process that lesson in a way that maybe they haven't done before. In which case, it wasn't a failure, was it? It was an essential learning experience to allow that process of awakening to happen, to allow a future outcome we call success to happen. So you can't really ever fail as long as you're learning, as long as you're willing to learn the lesson that is there to be learned, and let the Holy Spirit reinterpret every situation for you. You're not failing, you're succeeding. Well, that's very reassuring, isn't it? Whatever I'm experiencing, whatever the outcome on that level of form, as long as I'm changing my mind and I'm reinterpreting the experience with the Holy Spirit rather than the ego, then I'm succeeding. Okay, so I can't ever fail then. I've just got to change my mind. The only time I fail is when I stop listening to the Holy Spirit and its guidance, and I start listening to the ego. But even that is not permanent. I might do that for a while, but at some point I'm going to change my mind. So it's not a permanent failure. It's just a temporary lapse. That lapse can last a long time, potentially a whole lifetime or more, but at some point we'll come back. We can't actually ever fail to awaken. Everyone will ultimately succeed in awakening because it's the will of God. It's got to happen, because it's the ultimate truth of oneness will ultimately restore itself to the awareness of every seemingly separate mind. That's the promise of God. That's the promise that we need to accept and honor by making a decision in alignment with it. I'm not going to go counter to this. God promised me salvation, but I have other ideas. Oh, that's just stupid. Just accept it and go with it. And then your life becomes a whole lot easier. All right. Happy to go to number 2?
Sorry, Donna. Sorry,
Mhm.
just going back to the universe part when you said the universe,
Mm.
abundance or truth. So that's just, I mean, we're not talking about how we perceive the universe in its form. It's just
Yeah,
boundless, endless, like
yeah,
abundance, or like
yeah,
as in a
yeah.
experience, or
Hmm. So it's easier if you interpret that as the physical universe. It's harder to get the feeling of oneness, because the physical universe is about form. It's about all these separate bodies and forms, trillions and trillions of them, and you seemingly it's very fragmented. How can you as a little separate body be one with another person, or one with an ant, or one with a star that's a million light years away? It doesn't really equate on a physical level. But if you go beyond the physical level into another level, which is signified by the capitalization, then it makes complete sense. And in fact, quantum mechanics teaches us that. There's something called quantum entanglement, where objects that are entangled respond at exactly the same time. So if a particle is quantum entangled with another one, and there's a change in the one particle, the other one will change simultaneously, even if it's thousands of miles away. And they've done these experiments. They've shown that happens. So then, what is that really saying? It's saying that the illusion of space and time that seems to separate us isn't actually the case. If that is possible, and it is possible, it's been repeated numerous times in experiments, then there must be a deeper truth, right? There must be a deeper truth of oneness that underlies all of the seeming separation. And maybe if you go back to the origin of the universe, it all came from one explosion of energy they call the Big Bang. So everything then is quantum entangled, right? Because it was all the same, and then it went its separate ways and diversified and became different forms of energy we call matter. But at that fundamental level, at that moment of so-called creation of the physical universe, everything was quantum entangled. Everything was part of one thing. So everything then still is quantum entangled. That must be the fundamental truth. If you look beyond all the seeming separation, everything is still connected. And of course, this is a fundamental spiritual principle behind all the great teachings. That yes, everything is connected. There's this interconnectedness of all beings, of all life, and it's about remembering that for yourself. That doesn't help you very much if you continue to believe in the ego's interpretation of the world and in separation, because you deny that interconnectedness. So this is about remembering it and going back into the universe of truth, which says there's really only, at the fundamental level, there's only one of us. There's only one awareness here. And all the seeming separate awarenesses and separate bodies, all of that is illusion. All of that is false. There's only one reality, one universe, one love, one awareness, whatever you want to call it, that unites us all. That is the very fundamental essence or being of everyone and everything, without which none of those seemingly separate beings, sentient beings in the universe, none of them would exist without that fundamental essence that unites them. So that's the universe of truth. Understanding that connects you with this higher universe, the capital universe of truth or abundance or love, true reality. And now you remember that and you interpret the world of separation according to that truth, rather than according to the apparent truth of separation. Okay, does that make sense, Kim? Any other questions about that?
yeah. No, thank you, John.
Yeah. So I've interpreted that consistently because he mentions universe a few times in the course. I've consistently gone, okay, let's go with the capital universe interpretation because that clarifies the misunderstanding. There's other contexts where the physical universe interpretation is really confusing. And even more confusing is that they, in the original, they don't capitalize it, they put it in small. And maybe the editors weren't clear on this themselves. That's why they made it small. Maybe they thought he was referring to the physical universe. But there are definitely instances in the course where it's clearly not the physical universe. So we're reinterpreting the whole thing, we're correcting it. I'm like, okay, that just needs to change so that it clears up that misunderstanding. All right, so let's go to number 2 then. So Kim, if you want to read the original, and then maybe Archie or Lane, the alternative. Archie, how about you read the alternative?
Okay. How holy are our minds?
How innocent my awareness is.
And everything we see reflects the holiness within the mind, at one with God and with itself.
And everything I perceive reflects the pure formless awareness or abundance within my mind that is one with pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance itself.
Okay, number 3, Kim.
Okay. How easy do errors disappear and death give place to everlasting life?
How easily do my errors disappear and death give way to everlasting life.
Our shining footprints point the way to truth. God is our companion as we walk the world a little while.
My enlightened words and actions point the way to truth or abundance, for pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance is my companion as I walk the world for a little while.
And those who come to follow will recognize the way, because the light we carry stays behind. It still remains with us as we walk on.
And those who come to follow me will recognize the way, because the pure formless awareness or abundance I have leaves a trail behind me while still remaining with me as I journey on. So from the top, how innocent my awareness is, and everything I perceive reflects the pure formless awareness or abundance within my mind that is one with pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance itself. How easily do my errors disappear and death give way to everlasting life. My enlightened words and actions point the way to truth or abundance, for pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance is my companion as I walk the world for a little while. And those who come to follow me will recognize the way, because the pure formless awareness or abundance I have leaves a trail behind me while still remaining with me as I journey on.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Well, how easy it is, if I go into the awareness of perfect love or abundance. So remembering that, and everything flows with ease.
Yeah, that's the flow state. When you when you remember that, you're in a flow state. Everything, even if life isn't always easy, it doesn't always give you great experiences on the level of form. But if you remain connected to this awareness or abundance, it's okay. You can handle it. You can cope with it.
Mm.
When you disconnect from that awareness and that abundance, that's when you get into real trouble. And you feel lonely, abandoned, confused, fearful, angry, upset. all over the place. It's a disaster, really, the car crash. If you really look at it. And then, so if you think of times in your life when you've really felt you struggled, you've really been challenged, it's because you've disconnected from that awareness. You're now in another awareness, and that awareness is terrifying. You feel lost. You feel abandoned. You feel like, well, what? Like, I don't even know. I don't know who I am. And that's the problem. When you're not connected to pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance, you don't know who you are. You are literally lost. Very lost, very confused. You don't even know who you are, but surely that's the most basic thing for you to know, who you are. Okay, so who am I?
Yeah.
And we lose that, it's very destabilizing for the mind. In fact, everything falls apart, because if you don't even know who you are, then how can you make decisions? How can you act? How can you speak? You don't even know who you are. You have an identity crisis. So it's not going to work. Who then is thinking? Who's acting? Who's doing things? Who's deciding? On what basis are you deciding? Because you don't even know who you are. So what happens when we start to awaken is that question becomes very pertinent in our minds, and we tend to vacillate, because there's the old self that's trying to reassert itself. There's this new awareness that's arising, and it's very confusing because now we're really not sure anymore who we are. And so it feels very unstable, very destabilizing, and a lot of people then go, oh, I don't want this, I want to go back to my old self and the apparent security of that I used to have. But you can't go back, because you're never going to have that same sense of security, because it's been shattered, because there isn't another alternative. So the only way out of that dilemma is through it. You have to go through that process of undoing of the ego, and then installing essentially another thought system, another operating system as your default. And then, once that's done, you know who you are. And there's no confusion anymore. And you have clarity and you have certainty, and whatever happens in life, you process and you perceive it from the correct perspective. And so you're okay. Whatever happens, I'm good. Even if it's an apparent disaster on the level of form, I haven't lost my awareness of who I am. So I'm okay. I'm good. If you lose who you are, that's when you really start to suffer. And we've all been there, and it's not a nice feeling, is it? When you forget who you are, it's the worst feeling in the world, because you just feel completely lost. Like I don't even know who I am anymore. But that's a process. If you're feeling that is usually a process of awakening that you're going through. Because you thought you knew who you were. You thought you were a person. You thought that ego identity was true and real. And then, of course, you suffer, and it gets questioned and it gets challenged. And on one level, you want to go back to that and cling to the old identity. But that's never going to work. It never did work, to be honest. That's why it's failing you. So you can't go back to that. You've got to go through and say, okay, the only way out is through. I've got to actually just undo this false identity and completely identify with this emerging awareness, which is my deeper awareness, my true awareness that's emerging through this chaos. And hold to that no matter what, because therein lies my salvation. There's my happiness, my peace, any kind of security, any kind of quality of life I'm going to have is going to happen because I'm in that awareness. It's not going to happen from the other awareness. And once you really get that and you make the decision, you make the choice, then it becomes quite simple. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that old awareness. It's gone. I'm no longer entertaining it. I'm not going back there. I'm not vacillating. And then you only have one awareness guiding you. then life is simple. There's no conflict, there's no vacillation, there's no difficulty, because the one awareness always guides you in one way and tells you, what to do. It's only when we have a split mind, we have two awarenesses, two thought systems guiding us, that we get into trouble, because then we don't know which one to believe. All right, so let's go on to number 3 then. So, Archie, do you want to read the original, and then maybe Elaine reads the alternative?
Or is it my turn?
Yeah, you can read the
Yeah.
alternative if you're okay with that, Elaine. Or do you want to read the original? I don't mind. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'll do the original.
Okay.
What we receive is our eternal gift to those who follow after, and to those who went before or stayed with us a while.
Okay. Now, Archie, if you read the alternative.
I think it's me to read the alternative.
This is your chart. Okay, fine.
Okay. What I receive is my eternal gift to those who follow after me, and to those who went before or journeyed with me for a while.
And number 2 then.
Yeah, and God, who loves us with the equal love in which we were created, smiles on us and offers us the happiness we gave.
And pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance, which loves us all with equal love and or abundance, in which we are extended, smiles on us and offers us the happiness we gave to others. From the top.
Yeah, from the top.
What I receive is my eternal gift to those who follow after me, and those who went before or journeyed with me for a while. And pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance, which loves us all with equal love or abundance, in which we are extended, smiles on us and offers us the happiness we extend to others.
Okay, so what's he saying there? Summary?
So it's we're receiving, or in other words, actually, like, it's telling us that we have it. So it's as though we're receiving it, love, and we extend it to those who follow me, companions who follow me, or went before. So basically, you're extending out to whether it's before or after. And we're just, as we one with pure formless awareness, as we feel abundant with pure formless awareness, we just extend that. And it's like, and it's just bringing happiness.
Yeah. Love, abundance naturally brings happiness. When you're in that state of mind, you feel what we call happy. It's as simple as that. So when you know who you are, then you're happy. And when you forget who you are, you're unhappy. You've just got to learn that simple equation. And abundance is accepted now or never. Yeah? You can't have abundance in the future. It's like I accept it now as here now, and then I operate accordingly and I extend that inner abundance that I feel to others, or I don't accept it, or I disconnect myself from it. If I say abundance is coming, I've disconnected myself from the abundance that's right here now. So then I feel like I don't have it. This is a mistake so many people make in spiritual circles, manifestation, etc. It's like, it's coming. When I get there, then I'll have abundance, then everything's going to be amazing. But what you've done in that thought is you've separated yourself from the abundance that's already here now, which is a primary error. So the more you do that, the more you're actually denying the abundance that's here now, which is a primary mistake, because if you deny abundance that's now here, how can you ever be in abundance? Because it's only now, by definition. This love, this awareness is only ever now. It doesn't exist in the past or future. Those are illusions. You see how it's all bound up together. So this teaching is saying, accept it now or never. If you don't accept it now, you're never going to accept it. So make it your practice to accept it now, because there is no other time. That's all there is. Right here, right now. Abundance is here now or never. Well, it's just simple. We think, well, yeah, obviously, logically, but how often do we disconnect ourselves from that? We deny that by going, no, when I get there, yeah, there's abundance. There's a nice life for me, and this and this and this has got to happen. It's going to happen sometime in the future. And from a Buddhist perspective, the Buddha noticed this and said, well, desire or craving then is the source of all suffering, because it denies the abundance that you have now, the abundant life that Yeshua called it. It denies that is here now. And so you're always craving, always desiring something in the future and denying that you have it now. And of course, it's only ever now. So you set yourself up for perpetual craving and lack and scarcity and suffering. So we have to just be really aware that that's the tendency of the ego. Seek and seek and never find, crave and never get satisfaction. Saw Mick Jagger actually at the football. I don't know if you saw him, Kim. So that brings to mind the famous Rolling Stones song. I can't get no satisfaction, and I try and I try and I try and I can't get any satisfaction. There exactly is the craving mindset of the ego, the denial of abundance that's here now. All right, so any thoughts on that? Comments, questions? We'll go on to number 4. All right, who wants to read the original? Okay, no one's really volunteering today. So Archie, would you read the original for us? And let's say, Elaine, read the alternative.
Mm-hmm. Today we will not doubt his love for us.
Yeah, no question is protection.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the comma there. Today we will not doubt his love for us, nor question his protection and his care.
Okay, then Elaine, if you can read the alternative.
Oh, sorry, I had the mute on. Today I will not doubt its love or abundance for me, nor question its protection and care.
No meaningless anxieties can come between our faith and our awareness of his presence.
No meaningless anxieties can come between my faith and my awareness of its presence.
We are one with him today in recognition and remembrance.
I am one with the perfect love or abundance today in recognition and remembrance.
We feel him in our hearts.
I feel it in my heart.
Our minds contain his thoughts. Our eyes behold his loveliness in all we look upon.
My mind contains its thoughts, and my eyes see its loveliness in all I look upon.
Today we see only the loving and the lovable.
Today I perceive only the loving and the lovable. And from the top, today I will not doubt its love or abundance for me, nor question its protection and care. No meaningless anxieties can come between my faith and my awareness of its presence. I am one with perfect love or abundance today in recognition and remembrance. I feel it in my heart. My mind contains its thoughts and my eyes see its loveliness in all I see. Today I perceive only the loving and the lovable. Yeah.
Send that back.
It sounds, yeah, no, it sounds definitely the way forward.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can we perceive only that, even in the appearances of the world that show us a lot of things that aren't apparently loving and lovable? That's the question.
That's the question.
That's the question, and that's the process of forgiveness. You have to overlook, ignore that which isn't true. So even if it seems to be happening out there in the world, you have to recognize that it's simply not true. Someone behaving in an unloving way, someone doing something that's unloving, this happens all the time. Every day people are doing unloving things, behaving in unloving ways. Every day there's pain, there's suffering, there's misery, there's trauma, there's death, every day in the world. So you can perceive all that and make it real if you want to, or you can make a categoric decision to say, no, all of that, I say categoric because you put it in the category of the unreal. So all of that is not true. All of that is unreal. And I'm going to perceive it as such because that's my salvation and that's my happiness, and therein lies my peace and my happiness and my joy. And I can actually live in a happy, sane way in this madhouse if I choose to perceive only the loving and the lovable. Obviously, the ego is up in arms at that and says, what? You deluded? How can you ignore the stuff going on? It's real, it's happening. You've got to know about the world, you've got to know about all this stuff, it's important, da da da. You know the voice. On and on and on it goes. You've got to know the news. I'm having a conversation with my mother, keeps watching the news. I'm like, Mother, why are you doing that? No, because I need to be informed. I'm like, do you really need to be informed about all the chaos and disaster and death and sickness and madness that's going on? No. Yes, I need to be. But why? Well, why do you need to know that stuff? And actually, she couldn't really answer because there's no real justification. You don't actually need to know that stuff at all. You could quite safely ignore all of that and probably be much happier for it. But the ego mind wants to know it. The ego mind's addicted to that stuff because you see what it does. It maintains the separate identity. That's why people are addicted to negative news, because it feeds the ego as a separate identity. And if you perceive only love in the world, then you cannot be a separate person anymore. It's as simple as that. So then your separate identity revolts and says, no, I have to perceive all this stuff because it's real and it's happening and I have to inform myself. No, you're perceiving it because you want to confirm your separate identity. Let's be very clear. You're watching the news because you want to believe that you're a separate self.
Yeah. Well, it's like the news. I don't watch the news. I mean, I know Dave doesn't. I keep sort of a low ebb with all of these things, but sometimes life just something throws you, whatever it might be. Like they're the two ladies there, all the noise. So the ego is quite crafty. So it's decided, right, okay, I'll stop watching the news. Won't drink. I'll have a clean, healthy diet. Blah blah blah. But there's still life throwing termites and various other
you're
things.
going to get these curveballs.
Yes.
Because remember, the illusion is designed to make you believe in a separate self. And so that's what it does.
Yes,
you're going to get these challenges to try and make you believe again in the separate self and forget the truth of perfect love or abundance. That's why it's the illusion. That's why it's called a veil of illusion that's pulled over the truth. It's designed to do that. Once you understand this, life becomes a lot easier, doesn't it? Okay, this is the game that's going on. This is what's going on all the time. So I have to resist the temptation to believe in all this stuff and make it real, and then identify with the separate self. And that resistance to temptation we call forgiveness or letting go. It's as simple as that.
And then you act from the place of love. So,
Yeah.
for example, the termites, obviously I need to do something or else the roof will fall in. So,
Yeah, but you didn't get upset about it. That's the key.
I wouldn't say, no, I didn't get upset, but occasionally you do sort of get irritated. So it is a little bit of the ego coming in there.
Yeah.
So I have to be honest, I'm not completely in with the loving awareness. There is vacillation still. Yes.
But when you notice those vacillations and you go, oh, okay, so yes, I'm still being triggered by termites. Okay, I need to do some more letting go here. I need to let go of the negative reaction and just see only the loving and the lovable, even in the termites, even in all the problems of the world. All things work for good, the Course says. All things work for good.
Yes. Oh, I understand.
So but it's whatever the difficulty is, remember what it's designed to do from the Holy Spirit's perspective. Its only purpose is to help you remember the truth of who you are. That's what it's for.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. As I say, I've been sort of, undoing quite a lot of things, Airbnbs, as you know, blah, blah, blah. But there's still, even a hermit will still get termites or cockroaches or whatever else.
But how you perceive them is different. That's the key.
Yes, of course.
So the reality of them changes because you perceive them differently. And reality is perceptual. There's no fixed reality here. It's entirely in the eyes of the beholder. How are you perceiving it? That gives it the reality that it has.
Yes, well, most of it, there's a start off with irritation, and then I guess you just act accordingly.
Yeah, if you were able to work through that irritation, let it go, and restore your mind to a place of calm and peace, and then okay, well, in that calm, peaceful state, I'll just do what's necessary. Yes, I'll get the pest control in, and I'll sort out the termites. But there's maybe even a higher way of operation, because some people have connected with the termites and ants, and they just ask them to leave.
Oh, right, I'll try that one then.
They leave. Yeah, it's possible because you can communicate. These are sentient beings, right?
Oh yeah, so, it's not pleasant to be exterminating our beings.
So I've read about. I haven't done this myself, but I've read about some spiritual psychic lady. It's like, okay, well, I just connected with them, and I asked them to leave. I said, look, if you don't leave, I'm going to have to call in the exterminators, and you're going to die. So please just leave the house.
Well, I'll try that. I'll try it, because at the moment they're coming in their swarms because it's hot weather. We've had the exterminator in about a week ago, and they're still coming in their flocks.
But so, if you go into a deeper, I mean, you've got to go deeper than the average person can go. You've got to go into this universal mind.
Yeah,
the mind that knows everything, that connects with every sentient being. Called universal consciousness, universal awareness. You got to go into that, and at that level, you can connect with anything, because we're all connected. That's the whole lesson. We're all interconnected. We're all quantum entangled. But if you disconnect yourself from that awareness, then you can't communicate. So we think, oh well, the termites and me are separate. And the termites have a different idea, a separate interest. There's a way of connecting at that level with them, and then at that level you can communicate.
Well, I will.
And indicate an intention. Say, look, like I'm asking you, like,
to leave.
Please leave, because otherwise I'm going to have to exterminate you.
Well, they've already been exterminated. They've been exterminated a week ago, but they're still coming back.
Yeah.
So I shall have I'll have a chat with them.
Well,
I'll let you know how it goes. I'll give it a try.
Give it a try, because that would be the loving and the lovable way to deal with the situation. There doesn't have to be any extermination. There doesn't have to be any death. There's just a communication and a simple request.
It's not so much because I don't like to kill anything. It's more preventative, to just stop them coming in. That's basically what my prayer is.
Yeah, which means you need to communicate that to them, and maybe they'll go elsewhere. And this has been done. It's possible because we know everything's connected. So if you're really applying these teachings and these principles, then yeah, it's possible. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. And again, the ego's go, oh, rubbish, you can't communicate with termites. Oh, they are intelligent beings. They're sentient beings.
Oh yes, no, I'm sure they are.
So they don't have exactly the same intelligence as humans, but they have the same fundamental mind, right? At that level of universal mind, the one mind, they are the same. So you can connect with them on that level, and they have a will to live. They're just doing the best that they know how to do. They don't understand.
Yeah. Oh no,
they don't understand that that's inconvenient for you. So you have to make them aware.
I don't like killing anything. It's a case of really, I think what I've decided to do really, rather than just sitting there praying for them to go, because I could be there forever, is I'm just going to get it all taken out and just remove it. And so then there's no deaths, it just don't come anymore. I'll get it removed with a different material. So that's probably going to be the most wisest thing to do, because I'm not claiming to be Jesus. So I shall probably do that when I come back from England.
Well, the truth is you are. Jesus said, you'll do these things that I've done and even greater things. So he said, this awareness that I have, which I've demonstrated to you, you have it too. Everyone has it. It's just the depth that you're going to go to of that awareness. How much you're going to allow that awareness to become your only awareness, your exclusive awareness.
Well, I just wish them loving care. I don't want any ill or whatever. I just wish them to say, can you find somewhere else?
Well, there you go. So just try it and give it. It's not you. It's this higher awareness that's doing it.
Yeah, of course. Well,
so it's not a little Elaine Clark doing it. It's this
but the thing
awareness or presence we call love, God, spirit, that's doing it through you, that you're tapping into that power in which there's no order of difficulty in miracles, in which anything's possible.
Well, that's level 3. I'm working on level 2 at the moment. So
but you've got to stretch yourself, Elaine. You've got to
stretch I'm going to stretch myself to get some different material.
Just give it a try. You might be surprised.
Well, sure. Yes, no, because like you say,
you may and do it with faith. They're like, if these principles are true, then this becomes possible. If you accept the truth that we're all connected, then these kinds of things are not miracles. They're just a natural consequence of this law of oneness being applied.
Okay.
So miracles aren't really miraculous. They're just the higher law. They're the law of oneness actually playing out instead of the law of separation. Once you understand that, then it's like, well, miracles are normal and natural. They're to be expected, but you need to hold to the truth. You can't, if you forget the truth, then you can't expect miracles.
The only way I find, if I want to be in that real truth, it really is discipline, and you have to be here right this moment without any thoughts.
Yeah, it's a discipline of the mind to let go of the other thoughts, the alternative thought system of the ego, not entertain that, let it go, and keep your mind open and clear. And you can still think, but there isn't all of that negated thoughts and emotion, or all of the chaos and the all of those those thoughts of
loop. It's looping.
I'm unhappy because this isn't working, and why am I getting this wrong, and why does this always happen to me, and on and on and on. That's all ego. That kind of thought isn't helpful.
No. Oh no, I certainly.
The Holy Spirit's thought just says, okay, so let it go, connect with them, and ask for guidance and ask for a solution, and there'll be a solution that comes out of this perfect love or abundance that is given to you, and then act on it.
Yes.
So if something has come to that tonight, your choice will act on it or not. And that, that wasn't conscious. That just, that was what came to me in the moment. So I believe that's the Holy Spirit giving you a message. So, okay, well, do you listen? There's a message there. Listen and apply it, and you follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit, or don't. You always have that choice. But if you don't, then you're making again a choice for the ego, which is not a smart choice. All right, so all good. Let's move on then, shall we, to number 5. We see it in appearances of pain. So I forget who read the last one. Whoever didn't go in the last one needs to go, and then someone else.
Yeah, I can go.
Okay.
We see it in appearances of pain, and pain gives way to peace.
I perceive it in appearances of pain, and then pain gives way to peace.
We see it in the frantic, in the sad and the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to the tranquility and peace of mind in which they were created.
I perceive it in the frantic, the sad, the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to the tranquility and peace of mind in which they have always been extended.
And we see it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to life.
And I perceive it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to eternal life.
All this we see because we saw it first within ourselves.
I perceive all this because I perceived it first within myself. From the top, I perceive it in appearances of pain, and then the pain gives way to peace. I perceive it in the frantic, the sad, the distressed, the lonely and afraid, who are restored to the tranquility and peace of mind in which they have always been extended. And I perceive it in the dying and the dead as well, restoring them to eternal life. I perceive all this because I perceived it first within myself. So I'm saying it's if I actually perceive, it's a mind, it's a change of mind. Actually perceiving now the oneness and all the kind of negativity and the separate, what had been perceived as separate beings of separate problems, should I say. And then with that change of perception and perceiving now oneness, which is really bringing that, feels like the qualities of peace and tranquility. Because you first started perceiving it in our true selves, which is extended to how we perceive it out there.
You see, your only problem is a perceptual problem. Do you see that? The truth of that? It's a seemingly obvious truth, but most people don't get it. It's not obvious to most people because they think the problem is the world. They think the problem is a person, a circumstance, a situation. Oh, this isn't going right. The problem is out there. No, your only problem is you perceiving it incorrectly. That's your only problem. And so that problem can easily be changed, easily be corrected because you have a choice. You can perceive it differently. The moment you perceive it differently, the problem is solved. Even if the situation on the level of form persists. So what? You perceived it differently. You're at peace. And then out of your peace comes a solution on the level of form. So well, what about the practical side of it? I've got termites. Well, because the solution will come out of the peace. You will be given whatever you need to do, whatever action you need to take is going to come out of that peaceful awareness that you've restored your mind to. That's the miracle. We've got to learn to trust that this is a much better way of operating in the world. It's a much more effective way of solving problems if you treat them this way. But if you stay in problem consciousness, everything's always a problem. What do you get? More and more problems. The problem's never solved because the problem is your perception. You see, you have a perceptual problem. That's the real problem. So you're not solving the problem. So the problems just carry on, and then they morph and they change. And now there's a problem with this. Just when I thought I solved this problem, now there's another problem, and there's another problem. And of course, the ego loves problems because it makes you seem to be a separate self and a victim of circumstances you can't control. And so it perpetuates a separate identity, which is why the world is full of so many problems. You see, does this make sense then? This is why we've designed the world the way it is. This is why the world operates the way it is and why it's so problematic. It's designed to be that way because that gives apparent reality to a separate self. And when you get this, that's a huge part of awakening. Just go, oh my goodness, like I get it now. I see exactly why the world is the way it is. And it could be no other way, given that the ego needs to exist. Then the world would have to be this way for the ego to still exist within it. You see, so now it all makes sense, and now you can stop trying to change the world and just do the sensible thing and just change your mind about the world, because that becomes the only sensible answer to the problem. As long as you still think that the problem is out there, you continue in this futile efforts to change the world, and of course you're never going to succeed. There'll just be one problem after another. I mean, look at humanity, and the advance of, let's say, technology and our so-called civilization. We're trying to solve problems all the time. So we invent stuff called technology to solve these problems, but the problems remain. It's not like we've solved all of our problems. There's still many, many, many problems. And it seems like it's endless. We try and invent new stuff and technology to solve those problems. And there's new problems that arise from the problems that we try and solve. We try to, I'll give you a good example. We try to solve the problem of, well, how do we contain things? So they invented something called plastic. Thought it was a great idea. And then, of course, you get billions and billions and billions of tons of plastic that's produced, and then it's just now in the oceans and everywhere, and now we create another problem. So an endless series of problems seem to beset us, and we try and solve them with the ego, and we have to learn that we're never going to solve the real problem that way, because it's a perceptual problem. The only solution to the problem is spiritual. It's a change of mind that needs to happen, and that's awakening, and that's the miracle when you understand that. All right, so let's go on to number 6 then. No miracle can ever be denied.
No
Who's going to
miracle
read that? Okay.
No
Go for it.
miracle can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with God.
No correction can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with perfect love or abundance.
No thought of theirs but had the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone in times gone by and the times as yet to come, as easily as in the ones who walk beside them now.
Every thought of theirs has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone in the past and future as easily as the ones who walk beside them now.
Their thoughts are timeless and apart from distance as apart from time.
Their thoughts are timeless and beyond space and time. No correction can ever be denied to those who know that they are one with perfect love or abundance. Every thought of theirs has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone in the past and future as easily as the ones who walk beside them now. Their thoughts are timeless and beyond space and time. Well, it's just saying that no correction can ever be denied to those who know they are one with this perfect love.
Yeah, which is very good news.
Yeah, it has the power
So
to heal. Yeah.
every misperception that we have can be corrected by this loving awareness, if we're willing to let it be corrected. Every thought we have has the power to heal all forms of suffering in anyone in the past and future, because it's that thought comes from the love that heals everything. Some people take it literally. Oh, I'm thinking and then I'm healing the whole world. No, but that thought, if it was accepted by everyone, would heal everyone and everything. See, so you're then part of the healing, part of the solution, rather than part of the problem. And this is timeless, apart from distance as apart from time. It's beyond space and time. Remember we talked about quantum entanglement. Everything's entangled. Everything is actually here now, always. One now, one awareness now. There is no time, there is no space. It's all connected right here, right now. Once you operate in that awareness, can you see the power that gives you? Because you're connected to everyone and everything, and your thoughts have immense power then, because they're connected to everyone and everything. That's why, Yeshua said, when you believe, actually, the original in the Gospel of Thomas was when you accept that you are one with your source. I'm paraphrasing it, but you accept that you are one with God and one with all of its extensions, your brothers, then you will move mountains. Because you go into this space beyond this state, beyond space and time. And you're connected in that state to everyone and everything. So in that state, there's nothing that becomes impossible. Which is why I said you'll move mountains. So the seeming mountain, the obstacle, whatever that may be, termites in your home, or a midlife crisis, or whatever the problem seems to be, can be solved in that state. Your challenge becomes, can I go into that state? Can I let go of all of the ego's defenses to that state and allow my mind to go into that state beyond space and time, in which miracles happen, in which there's solutions to every problem? And that's the practice. That's why we practice. Whenever we practice a lesson, whenever we do any mind training, any spiritual practice, we're saying, I'm inviting that state. Again, I'm inviting the Holy Spirit to guide me into that state beyond space and time, in which there are no problems. All my problems are solved, and there's only love. And so I rise above, right? Yeshua talks about being above the battleground. I rise above it into that timeless state beyond space and time. And from that state, there are no problems. In that state of mind, there are no problems. Then from that state, we often get guidance, and we then come back into space-time, into perception, and we know what to do. Okay, well, say this, do this, take this action from this higher state, now guided from this higher state. And so that's a very easy, effective way of solving problems, as opposed to staying in the problem consciousness on the timeline. I actually wanted to show that. Let's see if we can get this going. Wait. Now what's happening? Maybe not. Not really happening, is it? I wanted to just see if This will work. Oh, there we go. It's come back to life finally. So I wanted to show you the Holy Trinity. There we go. No, actually I wanted to show you that one. Timeline of consciousness. So you see the diagram there. Illustrates it quite well. So you have a problem that seems to be serious. The ego's got all of its normal stuff around it, as symbolized by the red arrows. That's the ego's psychological emotional attachment. It's a problem. I can't solve it. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm upset. This is saying, go above that, transcend it, go into this state beyond time and space. Find that, connect with that, and then in that state, you will get solutions will come from that awareness. Maybe not straight away. When you go into that state, you do a meditation, for instance, you find some peace. You're like, okay, it's all okay. The problem's sorted. Then you go back down onto the timeline, and the problem still seems to be there. But now, an hour later, a day later, whatever, suddenly something happens, and you get an idea. Idea pops into your head, or someone says something, or you get an email or a text message, or you see an advert, and suddenly it's like, oh, okay, there's an answer there. I can feel that, that could work. And so you're really being guided by this thought system, and that's why it's a double arrow. So you're going up into that, disconnecting from the problem for a while, and then you go back down to that level, but now you have this higher awareness that's with you, that's guiding you. And that guides you to have a different thought about it, make a different decision, take a different action, and then your life on the timeline flows forward in a different way compared to being stuck in the problem. And so this is a very, very practical, livable philosophy. The Holy Spirit is there essentially as your guide, as your problem solver, to help you to solve the problems of life in a completely different way than the ego knows how to. The ego can never do it like this, because solving the problem in the Holy Spirit's way means the ego can't exist. See? So that's why it's not an accessible option for the ego. All right. Happy to go on to number 7.
Mm-hmm.
We join in this awareness. Who wants to read that?
I can read that.
Okay.
We join in this awareness as we say that we are one with God.
I join in this awareness as I say that I am one with perfect love or abundance.
For in these words we say as well that we are saved and healed, that we can save and heal accordingly.
For in these words I say as well that I am awakened and healed, and I can awaken others and heal accordingly.
We have accepted and we now would give.
I have accepted this, and I can now give freedom or abundance and healing.
For we would keep the gifts our Father gave.
For I want to keep the gifts my source gave to me.
Today,
Sorry, I want to keep the gifts my source gave to me by giving them away.
Today we would experience ourselves at one with Him, so that the world may share our recognition of reality.
Today I will experience myself at one with it, so that everyone may share my recognition of reality.
In our experience, the world is freed.
My experience, the world is freed.
As we deny our separation from our Father, it is healed along with us.
I deny my separation from my source, it is healed along with me. I join in this awareness as I say that I am one with perfect love or abundance. For with these words, I also say that I am awakened and healed, and I can awaken others and heal accordingly. I have accepted this, and I can now give freedom or abundance and healing. For I want to keep these gifts my source gave to me by giving them away. Today I will experience myself at one with it, so that everyone may share my recognition of reality. In my experience, the world is freed. As I deny my separation from my source, it is healed along with me.
Okay, thoughts on that?
And it's just as we're at one with God or perfect love, we are awakened and healed, and we can, and with this experience and that, and knowing of love, by giving that to others, we keep that gift of love. And doing this and experiencing this, the world will become one and freed from this separation.
You're then part of the solution to the problem, rather than part of the problem. You're contributing to the healing of the world rather than the damnation of the world. It's just a simple change of mind. You don't have to go out there and change the world and do anything. You just have to change your perception. So remember, that line, seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. Is one of the most powerful in the whole course. It gives us the answer, right there. It's saying to us, look, you only have one problem. That's a perceptual problem. You just need to change your mind. And then there's no more problem. And things on the external level will rearrange themselves accordingly, because as within, so without. We have miscreated. What we've done is we've miscreated the world from a separate self. So we see that, the subjective self with if you believe in the ego, then all of its negative thoughts and emotions and states of mind, that has gone in to create the seemingly objective world. And now the ego judges that as real, says this is real. And so now all of these thoughts and emotions and states of mind which created it are justified. So it strengthens them. And then it creates more of the same. And we go around and around and around in a loop on the same level. We get caught in this very limited, narrow level of a body and mind orientation. We go around and around and around, and that's very frustrating. It's like a hamster on a wheel, going around and around and around, not really going anywhere, thinking we're actually making progress in our lives, but actually we're just cycling around. We're just confirming more and more our ego. And the more we do that, the more depressing it feels, the more we disconnect ourselves from our source. We age, we suffer, we die, and we come back, incarnate into a new body, and we do it all over again. And you're just saying, well, that's a bit pointless and futile. Just start letting go and climbing the levels. Your job is not to just go around and around like a hamster on a wheel and exhaust yourself, suffer, and die. Your job is to let go and change your mind. Change your mind, and when you change your mind, you go to another level. And every time you do that, you go to another level and another level. And so you climb up the levels, and eventually you transcend all levels, and you go back into perfect oneness, which has no levels. So your only purpose in this world is to climb the levels, to go from one level to another to climb out of the dream world. It's not to go around and around and around like a hamster on a wheel, just reinforcing the ego continuously, which is how most people live. So you're climbing, you are on the hero's journey of climbing the levels and of learning your lessons. Every time you learn a forgiveness lesson and you let go, it's another level attained. It's a bit like gaming. You go from one level to another. The purpose of the game is not just to stay at the same level. You've got to go to the next level, the next level, the next level, and so on. Very similar, this is the ultimate game. You've got to go from level to level to level. What happens is if you expand and you go up levels, then your reality on the external level starts to change. It starts to shift. And you start seeing these so-called miraculous changes in your life situation because you've expanded your awareness and you've gone beyond the problematic consciousness of the lower levels. And now you start to see shifts in the seeming objective world because it's all connected. As within, so without. And your changes of mind then have an effect on the seeming reality that you experience because it's all mind. Right? This is just the external aspect of mind, the projection of mind, seemingly crystallized into form. This is the internal aspect, but it's really one thing going on here. And that universal consciousness, that unity consciousness, is the key to solving all the problems in the world and ultimately awakening from it. Awakening from the one problem we have, which is separation. Letting that go, restoring our mind into pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is beyond all levels. Just is. It's beyond this model. Beyond all the levels lies this awareness we're talking about. Okay. So any questions about that? Hopefully more clear. Hopefully I've given you maybe a different perspective. We've looked at this before, but every time you look at it, hopefully you get a bit more clearer and a bit more convinced that this is the only way to go. All right. So let's read number 9 then. Oh, sorry, number 8. Peace be to you today.
Peace be to you today.
I choose peace today.
Secure your peace by practicing awareness. You are one with your Creator as He is with you.
I secure my peace by cultivating the awareness that I am one with my source as it is one with me.
Sometimes today, whenever it seems best, devote a half an hour to the thought that you are one with God.
Sometime today, whenever it seems best, I will devote a half an hour to the thought that I am one with perfect love or abundance.
Oh, there's a little bit to finish up. Secure your peace by practice. No, sorry, 3. Sometimes today, whenever it seems best, devote half an hour to the thought.
We're on number 4, then.
Yeah.
Oh, this is our first attempt at an extended period for which we give no rules nor special words to guide your meditation.
This is my first attempt at an extended practice period for which there are no rules or special words to guide my meditation.
We will trust God's voice to speak as He sees fit today, certain He will not fail.
I will trust perfect love's voice to speak to me as it seems fit today, certain it will not fail.
Abide with Him this half an hour.
I invite pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance into my awareness for this half an hour.
He will do the rest.
It will do the rest. Right, so from the top. I choose, sorry, I just need to get some water.
No problem.
I choose peace today. I secure my peace by cultivating the awareness that I am one with my source of abundance, as it is one with me. Sometime today, whenever it seems best, I will devote half an hour to the thought that I am one with perfect love or abundance. This is my first attempt at an extended practice period for which there are no rules or special words to guide my meditation. I will trust perfect love's voice to speak to me as it sees fit today, certain it will not fail. I invite pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance into my awareness for this half an hour. It will do the rest.
So nice invitation there.
Yeah, yeah. So interestingly, saying there's no guided meditation as such. So when it says this is my first attempt at an extended practice period for which there are no rules or special words to guide my meditation. So what is meant by that then, Jonathan? Is it just tuning in to?
Yeah, so what he's saying is, okay, so let's just try this as something different. You're just going to go into this awareness
Yeah,
without any guidance, without any practice, without thought, really.
yeah,
It's the first attempt to just go into thoughtless awareness and just stay in that awareness, which is really the highest form of meditation. You know, at the highest level of meditation, samadhi, there's no practice, there's no process. It just is.
yeah,
It's a pure experience of fundamental awareness, God, and the practitioner just stays in that, and there's no thought. It's a thoughtless awareness. So I've only experienced it very briefly myself, because to stay in that awareness isn't easy. The mind comes in very quickly, usually, and has a thought, and then another thought, and you know how it goes.
yeah.
But that pure awareness, thoughtless awareness, is pure formless awareness of perfect love. There's no conscious thought anymore, but you're aware that you're aware. There's some awareness, some being, and when you're in it, then it feels just beautiful. It feels so blissful because the mind has stopped, and all of that problematic mind activity that characterizes the ego just goes away. And you're just in this pure awareness, and you know, it feels blissful. It feels light. It feels because the heaviness of that whole dark thought system of the ego is just gone. So he's giving us a little taste of, you know, the ultimate state of awareness, and saying, well, just try this, because we've had now 124 days of mind training. If you're doing the practice, so okay, it's time to maybe take the next step into this awareness. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, maybe you don't get much of that and the mind's still there. But he's inviting us in and saying, well, we give it a try and see what happens here. So we'll do that in our meditation. I'll guide you in to start with. I'll get you into and then we're just going to sit and just be in it for an extended period. And then, you know, notice what happens. Does your mind come in? Are you thinking stuff? Are you going into past, future? Can you just stay in an awareness of awareness? Just be in that awareness without thinking about it. You'll find it very difficult. Most people can't do it for more than a few seconds because the mind comes in and starts thinking something. But that's why it's an interesting exercise to see. Okay, you know, can I just stay in thoughtless awareness? And if you can do it for a minute or two, you're doing really well. It's not easy. Most people can't manage more than a few seconds,
Yeah.
which just shows you how active and busy the mind is.
Mm.
So, it's an opportunity to see that and maybe have a little experience of thoughtless awareness. To go into that for a few minutes, just to give you the extent of the mind training I had to do to get that experience. It was on day 9 of a Vipassana meditation retreat where I'd done 12 hours a day times 9, so something like 100 hours, over 100 hours of meditation to get to that one little glimpse of like 5 minutes or whatever it was. I don't even know how long it was because there was no sense of time. But it wasn't very long. I think it was a few minutes at most of this pure formless awareness where there really was no thought. It had all gone away. So it's not an easy thing to do, but he's saying, well, give it a try. You're ready now. We've done enough mind training. Let's try this now, and see how it goes. And then he says, he qualifies it. Your benefit will not be less if you believe that nothing happened. So let's just read that and then if we no, there's 11. Yeah, just
Well, there was a 12 as well.
Yeah, you want to go for it?
Line by line, or shall I just read the alternative?
Yeah, you can read. Just the last line will be Christ's face becomes true self's identity. If you want to speed things up, we can do that.
Yeah. Even if I believe that nothing happens in this meditation, I will still benefit. I may not be ready to accept my gain today, yet sometime, somewhere, it will come to me, nor will I fail to recognize it when it dawns with certainty upon my mind. This half an hour will be framed in gold, with every minute like a diamond set around the mirror that this exercise will offer me, and I will perceive my true self's identity in it.
Yeah, so that's Christ's face upon it. All right, so again, what does that mean? I think true self's identity then just makes it really clear. I'll perceive my true self. And you see where that image came from. There's the diamond set around the mirror. So and we start to see the true jewel is this true self, right? This is the pearl of greatest price that everyone is actually seeking. Riches, material wealth, etc., has nothing compared to this true self's identity, which is free. You just need to spend the time to access it. And so he says, oh, okay, so maybe you think nothing happens, maybe you think you're not successful, but think again. Just by giving yourself this opportunity, you're taking the next step. You're inviting this awareness, and if you keep inviting it, at some point it will come. As I discovered, that just arose, but I'd invited it, and I'd done all the meditation, and it was a culmination of years and years of spiritual practice, just intensified in that particular retreat, and then bang, okay, there you go. There's the gift, which was priceless. Would I trade that experience for anything in the world? No, it was absolutely priceless because it showed me reality. It showed me who I really am. And that stayed with me since then. Five years. These 5 years have been, I'd say, significantly different from the 5 years before, because of that experience. So there's the gift. There's the jewel. All right. So number 10. That's again nothing much to translate there. So let's read it in alternative. Elaine, if you can read that.
Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, I will see my own transfiguration In the mirror, this half an hour will hold out to me, to enable me to look upon myself when I am ready. I will find it there, waiting to be found within my true awareness. Then I will remember the thought to which I gave this half an hour, thankfully aware that I have never spent any time in a better way.
So it's indicating to us just, just how profound and powerful this is. You experience that, and I can speak from firsthand experience. That experience was the most valuable experience of my life. It's the most memorable. I'm so profoundly grateful for that, and it was worth everything that I had to do to have that experience, because it gave me an insight into who I am, true reality, and it's definitely changed my life. In one moment of a spiritual, mystic, or peak experience, depending on what language you want to use, you change your life. You're never the same again because you've had that experience. And so, saying, well, that you could have this in this half an hour if you give yourself to it. Who knows? Maybe you have an experience like that. And even if you don't, that doesn't matter, because you're taking another step in the right direction. And so then he goes on. So Kim, if you can read that, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow.
Perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, I will look into this mirror and understand the innocent awareness I see belongs to me, and the loveliness I look on is my own. I count this half an hour as my gift to pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance, in certainty that its return will be a sense of love and abundance I cannot understand, a joy too deep for me to comprehend, a sight too pure for my body's eyes to see. And yet I can be sure someday, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow, I'll finally understand, comprehend, and perceive truly.
When this happens, then it's exactly like that. After that experience, it was like, okay, I finally get it. It's like that. An experience like that is a life changing, because you finally just understand. You finally get it, but experientially, it's not theoretical knowledge. It's something that you've actually had the experience. So that experience was okay. I just see. I see how the world is. I see that it's a veil of illusion. I got an amazing download after that experience. It's like, okay, it literally felt like, the Matrix when they plug in. It's like uploaded program. I was like, ooh, like all of this awareness just came flooding in, and I finally understood. Like, oh my God, I get it. It's like I just see the illusion for what it is. I understand that it's just a dream world, and it's the veil of illusion. It's only funny that word that phrase made sense, because it's the veil of illusion that's been pulled over my mind to cover over this awareness that I've just experienced. That's the point of the world. That's why it's called the veil of illusion. When you lift that veil and you access the pure awareness, then the veil can no longer stand. And then you understand the purpose of the world, because you've understood something that's deeper than that. Okay, then just number 12, a short reminder. So Archie, if you can read that. In fact, let's read it. It's so short. So someone read the original, someone read the alternative, and then we'll go into meditation.
Add further jewels to the golden frame that holds the mirror offered you today by hourly repeating to yourself. Let me remember I am one with God, at one with all of my brothers and myself, in everlasting holiness and peace.
I will add further jewels to the golden frame that holds the mirror offered me today in this lesson by repeating to myself every hour, in everlasting wholeness and peace, I am one with perfect love or abundance, all my companions and myself.
Yeah, so that's just the reminder for us to remind ourselves of this state. So we have the half an hour, but then you just top yourself up and you remind yourself of this truth with some words. So if you get a little in your half an hour, you connect with this, and then you just top yourself up. You remind yourself of that state. That's what these reminders are about doing. So, and that applies for every lesson. Go into the state in the longer meditation, and then you just by a quick reminder, the words that he gives us remind us of the state and help us reconnect with the state. So the words are less important than the state of mind that they help us to induce. So every time you remember those words, you're inviting that state back into your mind. And saying, well, the more you do that, obviously, the better, because that state is your true state. That's where you're going to be happy and peaceful and loving and joyful. And that's your true nature. That's who you really are. So the more you remind yourself of that and invite that state, the better. Hence the frequent practicing through the day. Okay. So any thoughts, comments, questions on that? Shall we go into a meditation on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do it's saying half an hour. So we'll do a half an hour med if you're up for that. I'll just guide you in the first 5 minutes or so. And then it's going to be, as he suggests, just stay in it and just be aware of awareness. There's no thoughts, there's no practice. Just stay in this pure formless awareness. And if thoughts arise and you notice them, then notice them and just try and let them go. And maybe I'll come in every night and say, okay, just thoughts are coming in, let them go. But largely you're on your own. It's just it's an invitation to have another kind of experience. The ultimate meditation is no practice. There's no technique. It just is a pure experience of pure formless awareness of perfect life. Interestingly, when I had my experience, it was not a formal meditation. I was actually taking a break from meditation. That was the funny thing. There was no practice. I was like, okay, I'm done with the practice. So I'm just gonna relax and lie down on my bed because I was, mentally and physically so tired. And that's when the experience happened. When I let go of the practice.
When I was sneezing, you ran away.
Hello? Who's that?
I'm sorry, Helen just came in. No, we're just looking after a little cat.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, sorry, I thought someone just hacked our call. I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, no. Sorry.
All right. Okay. So let's dive in then to the med, shall we? So before we go, actually, let's just next week, because we might want to just drop off. So next week, should we do a session on Monday? Does that work? On Monday afternoon? Elaine, would that work for you?
I can't do the afternoon, Jonathan.
Okay. Evening?
Yeah, I can do the evening.
Yeah. Okay. Monday evening. Does that work?
Or I could do kind of late afternoon, sort of, 5 o'clock, something like that. If that.
Yeah. We'll start at 5. Yeah. Okay. Does that work? For others? Kim, Elaine?
Yeah,
I think so.
maybe, yeah. I have to come back on that, but yeah, I'll try for that, yeah.
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 Well, let's do Monday then. Elaine, would that work?
Yeah, I think so,
We'll do another session later in the week, probably Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, it's good.
Would Wednesday evening or Thursday evening work for you, Kim?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
Thank you.
either one of those. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do
So you
Monday.
do one. So you'll do on Monday and later, or just
Yes, yeah,
okay.
yeah. We'll do a Monday and I don't know, Wednesday. Does that work for you, Archie? Wednesday?
Wednesday doesn't, because that's my kind of mastermind day with Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday works.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do Monday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Evening.
Yeah.
All right.
So Thursday evening starting at 6 o'clock, then?
Yeah, can start at 6.
Or I can start at 5.
Yeah. Don't mind. We can start at 5. All good.
What's best for you, Elaine and Kim, for the evenings?
Easy, either or.
I'm all right with either. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 6. That's 6 your time, Kim. So
yeah. So
6 p.m. That's after work. So yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah. Might
then
join a
we'll
little
wrap
bit
it up by
late,
9.
but yeah. Okay.
We'll wrap it up by
Okay.
9.
Yeah. So we'll start at 5 then UK
Yeah.
time on Thursday.
5, yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's jump in then to meditation. So just making yourself comfortable, sitting comfortably with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind. Just noticing any thoughts, emotions, body sensations going on. And be willing to let them go. Just exhale. Remind yourself of today's reminder. Let me remember I'm one with God, or I'm one with perfect love or abundance, and with all my companions and myself in everlasting wholeness and peace. Blow it all out, let it all go. Open your mind to that experience in the next half an hour. It's going to guide you in for a few minutes to just observe, be aware of sensations in your body. Start with the crown of the head and move it to the tips of the toes. Just notice sensations, the skin. This is really just about quieting the mind, calming the mind. To notice what's happening in the head, your face, your jaw. Move your awareness down into your neck, your shoulders. And if you notice any tension, just breathe into that. And as you exhale, let it go. Sigh it out. You can drop the shoulders down. Feel the tension just leaving you. If any thoughts arise, just let them go by observing the breath. As how the breath flows in and out through the nostrils. And the body. And notice this awareness flowing down from your neck and shoulders into your arms, triceps, your biceps, your forearms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers. And then flow all the way back up from the tips of your fingers, up your arms, through your elbows, into your neck and your shoulders. And just going a little bit deeper with each passing moment and each breath into a deeper awareness beyond the body, beyond the mind and all of its thoughts. Just be aware of this awareness. And there's this awareness flowing down to your stomach, your chest, to your buttocks, your groin. Just observing the subtle sensations on the surface of the skin and penetrate deeper into the body, into this awareness beyond the mind and beyond the body. There's this awareness flowing down your legs and your upper thighs, back of your thighs, through your knees, your shins, calves, ankles, your feet, your toes. And then run your awareness all the way back up from the tips of your toes, through your feet, your calves, your shins, your knees, your thighs, back of your thighs, quadriceps, your groin, your buttocks, into your lower stomach, the lower back. Just being aware of this subtle energy, this life energy. And just focus on this, so you're cutting out all other thoughts, feelings, emotions. Just being aware of this very subtle life energy, awareness, being that's always there, but usually obscured by our thoughts. Notice this awareness in your chest, middle back, your upper back, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, upper arms, elbows, forearms, hands, wrist, fingers. Yes, your whole body is very limp, heavy, warm, relaxed. So awareness flowing up your arm to your neck, your shoulders, the back of your head, your ears, your jaw, your mouth, eyes, forehead, to the crown of your head. I just zoom out and feel this one life, this one awareness this meditation points us to. God, the perfect love, the awareness, the abundance, it's all just point us to the same presence, is another name for it. Same presence, essence, or awareness that just is, that underlies everything and everyone. And now just invite this awareness in. Again, one, just with the statement in everlasting promise and peace, I am one with perfect love or abundance. All my companions and myself. State that and then just rest in this awareness. Rest in this self. Rest in God. There's no technique needed. No thoughts needed. You need do nothing. Just rest in God. Just rest in this awareness. You don't need to think anything, feel anything. Just allow this awareness to be as it is. It is your most innermost presence, your most fundamental awareness. It's always been there. So this is just an opportunity to allow it to show itself, allow it to come to the forefront instead of being the background of your awareness. So just allow this presence, this love, this awareness, this abundance to be there in your mind, in your awareness. For the next 20 minutes or so of deep connected silence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just breathe, relax, and be still, be in this awareness, and know in this awareness that you are God. The next 20 minutes. Find your mind jumping around, thinking various thoughts. That's normal. Just notice those as they happen. Have a little smile inwardly, and you know what your ego mind is up to. And as you notice them, just Gently let them go. And allow this underlying awareness instead. This awareness that is your permanent true awareness, just to be there, just to reveal itself, give yourself a time, space. Allow that to happen. So, without allowing rather than forcing. Allow rather than trying. Allow it to be there. Don't block it with all kinds of other thoughts. Again, if any thoughts come in and intrude on this pure awareness, just observe them, laugh at them, and let them go as you become aware of them. Maybe you can see that they really mean nothing. All they're designed to do is obscure the awareness that underlies them. It's what all thought does. Obscures the pure formless awareness that underlies it, that is your true being. And knowing that, just rest in this awareness. Let go of those thoughts. And for another few minutes of deep silence, just invite this deeper awareness, the underlying awareness behind all thought, beyond time and space, your own true self, your own eternal nature, to reveal itself to you in the silence of the next 5 minutes. So just gently coming back now. You're going to bring your awareness back into the body through the breath and the senses, into the world, but retain your connection to this deeper awareness, which hopefully you connected with deeply or at some level over the last half an hour. Now it's time to come out. So on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. 1, just breathing in, noticing the breath flowing into the nostrils. Notice how the stomach rises, the chest rises. Smile. Pause, scan your mind. Just noticing any thoughts, any emotions, any related body sensations going on. Remind yourself that in everlasting wholeness and peace, I am one with perfect love or abundance. All my companions and myself. So I go beyond these temporary thoughts, emotions, sensations. I let them all go, exhale, blow them out, letting them go with breath to the nothingness that they really are, going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And just rest for a few moments in the gap between breaths. You go back into this state of awareness, this beingness. Hopefully you connected with quite deeply over the last half an hour. Notice that it's still there. When your mind is quiet, in the pause between breaths, and there's no movement, this awareness is there. Just notice that, give thanks for that. On the count of 2, you're going to just notice what else you're feeling, touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose, sensation on your skin, perhaps. Notice that. You're noticing from the deeper awareness, just still there. So just allow this deeper awareness to come to the foreground. You're inviting this in to be ever present, to actually be the driver rather than obscured and forgotten in the background. Bring it to the foreground and you allow this to be your dominant awareness, underlying awareness, your guide in life. Invite it in, open your mind to that presence. And so it is. So it is said, so it is done. This is going to be the case from now on. Stay in this awareness, rooted, grounded in this awareness, no matter what seems to be happening. If you can do that, you're awakened, you're enlightened. If you waver from that, then all you have to do is let go of the variance and return your mind to this awareness. So it is. So it is said, so it is done. Amen. And so on the count of 3, open your eyes now. Take a minute just to look around the room you're in, just observing what's going on. Notice just how calm and clear and aware you feel having gone into this awareness. You should be feeling calm, peaceful. And so this is just clear awareness, pure awareness, just perceiving the world. This is what it feels like. By acknowledging it, recognizing it, you can invite it in, invite this to become your default perception of the world, guided by what we call the Holy Spirit, which is a remembrance of this deeper awareness. It's now guiding your perceptions, your thoughts, your words, your actions. And this is what it means to surrender to God. So hopefully this meditation has helped you do that in a deeper way, or a profound way. Maybe you had a profound experience, but as Yeshua says, if you didn't, don't think that nothing has happened, because at some point your benefit will not be less if you believe that nothing happens. Just maybe you're not quite ready yet, but in time, this readiness will come, this experience will come. So know that for sure, because this awareness is your own true awareness. It's fundamental, and so at some point it will reveal itself to you. Either gradually, maybe some people have an epiphany, a revelation kind of experience, but at some point everyone has it. So if you didn't have it tonight, just open yourself to that possibility, knowing that it is in fact a certainty at some point, because it cannot remain hidden forever. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of the session. If anyone wants to share anything around the experience, you're welcome to stay and do that, or if you need to go, then off you go, and I'll see you next week, Monday evening.
Good night,
All
everyone.
right.
Good night.
Good night, Elaine.
Yeah. Good night, Elaine.
Night.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Jonathan. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night. Yeah.
Good night.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thanks.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend. See you
Yeah.
Monday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, Archie. All right, so that is a wrap for today. Thank you to Kim, Archie, and Elaine for joining. If you joined us virtually on a live stream or recording, if you enjoyed the session, then why not hit the subscribe button? You'll be notified whenever I go live, which is a couple of times a week. So you can join the live stream or you can catch the recording afterwards. If you want to go a little bit deeper than that, head over to lifebuild.com. You can see that in my virtual background. Just type in lifebuild and put in a .com in your browser, or there's a link below in the comments of this video. Just hit that link and you'll be taken to a site where you can sign up to my Telegram group, to which I send my daily inspirational quote, a blog post, maybe often other mind training material like access to the past recording, some bonus videos from other teachers, and the lesson for the day, which you'll get access to in its original and alternative form, and a short meditation or breath break, as I call it, to allow you to practice that lesson, as well as an invitation to join these live sessions, which happen 5 days a week. So all freely available at lifebuild.com. Just go and put and you will need to be signed up, subscribed to Telegram to join. So if you're not already subscribed, then just go do that. You can download Telegram on the Google Play or App Stores by searching Telegram, installing on your device, completely free. Actually, a better messaging app, I think, than WhatsApp, and less used. So it becomes a cleaner, clearer channel for communication like this. So I hope you'll do that. Hope to catch you inside the group or as one of our subscribers. A lot is going to happen over the next few months. So subscribe. I'll keep you posted on that. We're launching a new breathwork course and really taking life build to another level. So join the journey. Hope to connect with you somewhere on that journey, maybe in one of these sessions, maybe on the group, and have a lovely weekend if you're watching this live. So namaste, which means the true self in me honors that same true self, the Christ in you. And wishing you much love, peace, and joy in that self. Bye for now.